it is true that this is the most contentious ban, and I believe that this is a good ban. I like this ban. I read on Twitter that the reason that they chose to ban Reflector Mage was they wanted to make a conscious choice to hurt blue-white decks. They had evidence to support that blue-white decks were the winningest decks in Standard. I don't know if that's true, whatever. And I think if you're going to make a choice between banning Reflector Mage or Spell Queller, it's more reasonable to ban the Reflector Mage because Spell Queller is a counterspell. And against the new Saheeli combo and against Aetherworks Marvel, having more counterspells floating around is totally reasonable. I think that it adds more interaction to the game. But the thing about Reflector Mage is it's too powerful in a way that's really unfair. So, let's think of it this way. When they make a new card, like, let's say, Woodland Wanderer, that's 3 and a green for a 2/2 trample, and it has, what's that ability? It has Sunburst. Wow, I'm really killing my float. Woodland Wanderer, here it is. It has Converge. So imagine you're a new player, and you open a Woodland Wanderer in a pack, and you see it, and you go, this could be a 4 mana 6/6 Trampler? That is awesome! If somebody opens that card in a pack, they're going to want to build a 4-color beat down deck, because that looks like a really cool, powerful card. And the reality is, if other people are playing with Reflector Mage, it is a terrible mistake to put a Woodland Wanderer in your deck. It just costs too much mana and doesn't generate any kind of advantage once it's in play. It's like playing with the Gitrog monster. Playing with the Gitrog monster is terrible if other people around you are playing with Reflector Mage. It simply costs too much mana, and then they bounce it, and you got screwed. So it's kind of like when Flame Tongue Kavu was a legal standard card, or even Jace the Mind Sculptor. Those cards were so popular and efficient and dominant, Flame Tongue Kavu and Jace the Mind Sculptor, that if you ever played a card that cost the same amount of mana or more that was able to be bounced or killed by it, it was just devastating. Because when you have those cards, you build your whole deck in a way where you have cheaper cards to support it. And so if you play your Woodland Wanderer, and then I Reflector Mage it, you've just got set back badly. So it hurts new players in a way that's really hard to notice, because you put your Woodland Wanderer in your deck, and you play it turn 4, and then I Reflector Mage it, and then you draw and you say go, and then I get to play a 4-mana card, and then you play it on the next turn. You've invested 8 mana into it, you got nothing. On my next turn, I could either kill it or just play another awesome card. It's just, this kind of disadvantage is not acceptable. And if you're playing to win, you're going to get worked. You're going to get totally worked. So I think it's unhealthy in that it hurts players who try to play with fun, interesting cards in a way it's too oppressive. And the other thing about Reflector Mage is sometimes your opponent will draw multiple copies of the same creature. Like, let's say you play a Tireless Tracker, and I Reflector Mage it, and then you untap and you draw a Tireless Tracker. This is just really savage. What happened to you is really savage. So, and that's a very real aspect of constructed play, drawing multiple copies of the same card, and being hurt really badly by that. I mean, was Reflector Mage too good to the point where it was unfair? No. Is Standard a better place with Reflector Mage in it? No. There's no reason to have a card like Reflector Mage. It's not fun. It's not interesting. It doesn't make for sophisticated gameplay. It's just your opponent plays a Mana Gorger Hydra, and you Reflector Mage it, and your opponent feels like an idiot. I mean, that's the reality of what's going on. So it really, like, creates games and matches and environments when you just lose more than you're supposed to for playing cards that look like they're reasonable to play. Every time one guy has a Mana Gorger Hydra in their deck, and the other guy has a Reflector Mage, the player with the Reflector Mage is just going to win too much than is reasonable, even though that player's almost certainly better. It's just, I don't appreciate or like cards that make people feel stupid, and Reflector Mage is one of those cards. And it's even worse because it doesn't make you feel stupid when it happens, but when you lose over and over and over because the cards your opponent's playing with are just better than yours, it's gonna make you want to quit playing. So, I think Reflector Mage is a good ban. Not on power level, but on it's just there's no reason for that. Come on. What other bans we have? Here we go. Golgari Grave Troll. I would say that this is the most clearly correct ban that they made. I mean, it's obvious that you should ban Emrakul and Golgari Grave Troll. But the Golgari Grave Troll is like... I mean, the Emrakul is a more reasonable ban because it's played at a higher rate because Standard's more popular format. But the Golgari Grave Troll, I mean, this is just a joke how this card was gonna, like, reintroduce. I mean... It's terribly unhealthy because the gameplay with this card is repetitive and uninteresting. And I can understand that because Modern is no longer a format played at the Pro Tour, you can kind of ban and unban cards in a more willy-nilly type of fashion because you're not really hurting anybody because it's not like major tournaments have to be played with really, really stupid card structures. Like if they unbanned Golgari Grave Troll and then there was a Pro Tour, it would be really stupid because Golgari Grave Troll was so good. And I mean, I guess I had to play against Golgari Grave Troll at the World Magic Cup, so that was a professional level tournament in which that was kind of ruined because Golgari Grave Troll was in it. And I like the idea that they're unbanning cards because they're gonna reintroduce cards into the wild and look at what happens. And it's not the end of the world if they unban a card, let it back out there, see what happens, look at the information at the end of it, and then decide to reban it. That's fine. I like that. But with Golgari Grave Troll, what were you expecting to happen? What did you think would happen with Golgari Grave Troll? You thought that you were going to reintroduce it into the Society of Modern, and people were going to cast it? You thought people were going to cast this card for 5 mana and make a 5/5 skeleton that they regenerate? Nobody is casting this card. What do you think is going to happen? The only thing that happens with this card is people make busted decks with it, and busted decks are either too good, and then they need to be banned, or they're not good enough, and they're not fun. Nobody has fun with Golgari Grave Troll, and it's only played by people who want to win games, and it's just totally uninteresting, repetitive, and just uninteractive. There's nothing good about this card, and that's what happened last time. Last time that it was banned, this came back, and then what did you think would change? Nothing has changed. It's still just as stupid as it was before. And I'll tell you this, Golgari Grave Troll is not a 4 and a green for a 6/6 for. It's not just like a 5 mana skeleton card that people cast. This is Golgari Grave Troll. It's just the number 6 on a card. That's all it is. It's just Dredge 6. The end. It's terrible, 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 terrible. There's no reason to unban it, and I mean, like I said, I like the idea of unbanning cards to reintroduce them and try to get some data about what they do to the environment and if people enjoy them. But there's no data you can get from this card. It's just stupid. So, that's how I feel about Golgari Grave Troll. And the last one, Gitaxian Probe. Well, it's a sad day when we see Gitaxian Probe banned. Because I love this card. I mean, it hurt the Infect deck that I enjoy the most. And I noticed on my stream that when I mentioned Gitaxian Probe and we talked about this card, the consensus was that people hated it because it made them reveal their hand. So, one thing that I was underappreciating it is that, like, maybe there's this huge psychological aspect with amateur players that when they have to reveal their hand, they feel like they've been cheated, you know? Maybe a lot of people, or 99%, most or all people who play Modern with this card, when they get probed, maybe they feel really bad. So maybe this card is just generating lots of really feel-bad moments. And I wasn't appreciating for that, because that's not how I approach Magic. I don't feel that way. But if it makes other people feel that way, then it's definitely a good thing. And the reality is, once again, a probe is overpowered. It's just too good. I mean, I saw on Twitter someone say that there was no way to foresee the possibility of Modern being created as a format and Probe being in that format and being too good. But the reality is, when you choose to print a card like Probe, the upside is so small, and the downside is massive. The upside is, cool, I'll see your hand, and that might be fun, and if it's bad like you hope it's going to be, it will be played as a 1 or 2 of in some standard decks. Some people will think it's cool, whatever. The upside is, the ceiling is so low on this card if it does exactly what you hope it does, and the floor is massive. It can be terrible. It can just badly damage deck building, because everyone who plays blue is just going to play with this card. And then Delve gets created, and it makes the Delve cards really busted. When you play turn 2 Become Immense or Lethal, which I've done at the Pro Tour, I played with Pro Tour Fate Reforged, was the first tournament where you could play with 4 Become Immense. I had 4 Become Immense in my deck. I was killing people on turn 2. I played against a guy, one vivid memory I have is I played against a guy, and he was playing a red-green Tron deck. And there's 4 matches left to go, and the guy says he hopes to go 3-1 or 4-0 because he's going to qualify for the Pro Tour again. And I'm the kind of cynical pro in this scenario. And he goes, there's his tower. And I go, Forest, Listener Elf. Listener Elf. He goes, whatever, Chromatic Starring. And I go, fetch land, probe you, mutagenic growth, become a miniature dead. Turn 2 kill. So, the whole Phyrexian mana thing, I've talked at length about how I think it's terrible. And I just think that with Probe, the only possible thing they could have done to make it more reasonable is that it would be exiled when it resolves. And that's because it wouldn't fuel Delve, and it wouldn't be as busted with Pyromancer's Ascension, which people have done. Not that that's totally unfair, but I just think that if you're playing an aggressive deck that wants this type of effect, it's just too good. I mean, with Death Shadow, like, that's not a fun, interesting deck to have around, and having people die on turn 2, it's like, I would really rather not. So, do I think that Probe ruins games of Magic? No, I don't think that. Is it too good? Yes. Is Modern better without it? Clearly, yes. I mean, the thing is, there's a list of about 100 cards that Modern would be better off without, and Probe is near the top of that list, so for that reason I am glad that it's gone, but, I mean, you just go. Okay. Got a sneaky Pete over here. My hand, it's not particularly good. I like how mine from Mulligan. That pleases me.
Back in action. Good idea.
Listen. More foes. You will return shortly. Slay the undead and claim their skulls, heroes.
That gives me an idea.
Your core is under attack, heroes. Your enemies fall before you.
That's why I make the big bucks.
Enemy slain.
Don't make it so easy.
I'm
Break
making a
free
tactical retreat.
and destroy your enemies.
We need to. Fine by me.
Hey guys, Desolator Magic here, and I thought I was done talking.
Your columns are of similar strength. Prepare yourselves.
Let's cut forward. End well,
Your enemy has destroyed a key.
don't have enough energy.
And so the bone golems fall. Dust to dust, as they say.
You're smoking now.
You have been slain.
Well, this sucks.
Hey guys, how are you doing today? I'm Ayala if you're new here, and today I'm going to be answering questions. I have my laptop right here, and I asked you guys a couple minutes ago to tweet questions at me, so I'm just going to start reading them and answer those questions. When did you decide you wanted to start making YouTube videos? It was about a week before I started making YouTube videos. So, whenever that was. A little over a year ago. What did you want to be when you were little? I wanted to be a marine biologist when I was little. I wanted to like live in a boat and study animals in the ocean forever.
And then you found me and realized that I would never get on that boat with you.
Yeah, Billy would not go adventuring with me in the middle of the ocean, so had to pick a new career.